Hello, I'm here in the second part on the painting tutorial on this guy. It's one of the chosen from the Dark Vengeance kit, and I'm painting here him following the colors of the Legion of the War Bearers. So this is the second part. In the first part I explained how I arrived to this stage, and now what I will start doing some on the tail and also painting some of the highlights. So I will start with the head. And to paint the head, as I explained in the previous video, I will at the end I decide to go for using the metallic on the head as well. So I will use lead belcher color to paint the face. As you can see that the top of the helmet is painted on red. So carefully, just I follow the trim. I will avoid also to paint the eyes as well, or the lenses of the helmet. So I will paint all these parts. And I was checking before the video how to paint the tubes, because there is a lot of tubes here next to this. I think I will paint them with the flesh colors as well, so making them look organic. A mixture between the organic and the skin and all this type of stuff mix. So I will do some green glowing. I think I will use the green as a glowing effect for these miniatures, for the power weapons, for the gems, and for the lenses of the helmet. So sometimes when painting you want to play some colors first to see how it's looking like before working the details. So in this stage now, so here just you can see I will paint also the inside of the horns, this part in metallic. Oops, sorry. So as you can see, I put the brush flat, trying to follow the edge here. Then I do the same from the other side. Sorry, my hand is going to be now in the middle, but I don't have any other posture to paint. So I will keep applying the silver that you see, this metallic lead belcher on these parts. I will be back once it's applied. So lead belcher is applied, and now I will start doing these tubes. These tubes are very similar to these at the back with some corrugate visible. So what I will do is I will apply, as I did before, I lost the color here. It is the Kislev flesh, and I will prepare as I did before for these parts here, for this shoulder pad and the rest. So in that way I will have a nice organic connection with the shoulder pads. So I will paint the tubes in the same color, and we are going to apply the same glazes later on, so the same white and glaze and all the type of stuff that I applied here. So I will, even if I touch a little bit the plate, I want to do, I don't want to have any transition. I want to make this very organic flowing, and I just will leave, for example here the corrugate is visible, the cable. In some cases, for example here, now that I put a little bit of flesh, I see that this is the tube also visible, so I will try to skip these parts, leave it in black, because in that way I'm pretty sure that I will not forget to paint them later on. This is one of the things when you're painting. Sometimes you apply the basic paint and you're covering the details thinking that later on you will pick them up, and if you do too heavily and too well done, then it's difficult to pick them back because they are completely camouflated with the paint job that you did, and it's when you forgot to do something. So here I'm just applying this flesh tone to all these tubes and all these things that are here. Also here at the back I will do the same. I did the ones at the bottom, but I forgot completely these ones here at the top, so I will do them now. Okay, this should be good enough. Then I will apply a little bit here in the inside. Something here. It's a matter of passion and try to pick up. Here I will put right of the armor. We'll make also like some parts of the armor. So it's the same tube. It's difficult to say. You will paint everything in flesh, I think, at the end. Sometimes it's difficult to see what is this representing in that miniatures where the flesh is mixed with the armor. Yeah, it looks like. So yeah, I will keep doing that. I think it's almost done. I will just review that this is how you want to paint that. Okay. This is how it's looking like now with the flesh that I add. I also add here and some other tubes, and I add some red in that area here that is the armor, just to be sure where the armor starts and where the flesh starts. Sorry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a glaze with bloodletter on all these fleshy parts. So I will apply it in that areas. Also here. Remember that now it's more orangey, but then when it's dry it's going to be more reddish, and we are going to do a second wash later on. These tubes, I forgot the first time to do the red wash. Here we have another group of tubes. Just to ensure that I don't miss anything, for example like these ones. Here, just a little bit. So now it's done, and I will wait until this dries. So now that the glaze is dry, I will do as I did with the rest of the other parts. I will do a wash with Carlsberg red. So to uniform the color with the rest of what I did before. Be careful not to add too much. These small tubes, and then this tubes here. Okay, and now we have to wait until this is dry. Okay, keep working on this miniature. The next step that I will do, I will apply non-oil wash to the miniature. I will apply this on the red and on the metallics. And so what I will do is I will just try to make a wash, but we have to be careful. For example, here on the weapon, but we have to be careful not to dirt the parts where we did these flesh colors. So we are going to work all the reds and the metallics. So for example, here I will do this type of blade. So it's applying the wash in a controlled way. As you can see at the back, we can go more straightforward, trying to avoid to dirt the tubes that they are at the back. And where it's important to apply is here where we applied gray before. We are going to apply this very important, and also on the chainmail that is on the tabard. So it's important that we do all the parts of the miniature, that we don't forget any single part. Here, the part where we have bone, I will not be very concerned if you go through these parts here in the mask of the helmet, and as well the top of the helmet. And I will do here little touch the back of the horns. So as you can see, just apply the wash on all the metallics and red parts, and I will be back once I finalize applying this wash. The wash is now applied, and now we will wait until the wash is completely dry to start doing the highlights and painting also the scarp of the sword and here the gun. So I will wait until the wash is dry and I will be back. This is how it looks like once the wash is dry. And now what I'm going to use, I'm going to clean the wash using corn red. So I will, in the armor plates, what I will do is I will, for example here on the shoulder pack, I will apply again the corn red, but I will leave the part that is next to the metallic rim with the darker color. I try to use also the paint quite diluted, as you can see, especially on the big armor plates, to avoid that the strokes are visible. Okay, so right, I will keep doing the same on the different armor plates, and then on weapons or where I have edges, for example this in the hand, I will do the edge first, and then I will go in like that. And on the shoulder, the elbows, first I do this line on the elbow, I do also the edge of the armor plate, as well as here. So I will do it like that. I will make the edge a little bit thicker, maybe. Yeah. So I will leave some of the dark color that I applied before, but I will try to make the armor a little bit more brighter. So on the hands I will try to do the different fingers as well. For example here I will go finger by finger. And I will keep doing the same on the different armor plates. For example this one, I will just paint leaving the edge or the, how it's called, the space next to the rim with the darker color. So that way, the helmet is a pin that a part of the armor that you want to. The heads on the face is one of the part of the armor that is, I will say, have more the armor part of the miniature that have more importance. So it's good to dedicate some time to the helmets or the heads, because it should be the main part of the miniature, or one of the main parts of the miniature. So I do, as you can see, I do the same. I leave the middle of the helmet much lighter. You see here that the paint was dried. As I did very diluted, is almost transparent the color that I'm applying. So we'll keep working the different armor plates. The same on the legs. I will do them here like that. The way I leave the edge of the round of the armor on darker color. So I will keep doing that, and I will connect once I did all the red. So this is how it looks like after doing the red. Here I did the chaos symbol here. I did just a very short tutorial explaining how to do the freehand. I wanted to leave it out to make some special video just on how to do the chaos symbol. In case you are interested, you can click on the box below or in my comments below in case you are interested in how to do the chaos symbol. Now we keep working on the other parts. The next thing I will do, I will paint the helmet lenses. This case, the helmet lenses I think are very small, but I will still start with very dark green. So I will paint them, and now what I will do is I will go painting section by section and doing the different details on each part, starting from the head. So here I will paint the lenses. First I apply dark green. Then I use warpstone green. I will paint the middle of the lens, trying to leave some of the dark green that I did before. Hope you can see this in camera. Let me move this down. As you can see, another thing is I always have my hands, when I'm doing precision work, both hands on the table. In that case, I have much better control of the brush. So I apply a little bit of warpstone glow, on the middle of the lens, and then I will want to do the final touch. I will not do glowing, I will just paint them like bright but not glowing. You see, this will look like. Okay, now keep working on washes. The next one is I will use Seraphim Sepia, and with Seraphim Sepia I will wash everything that is like wood, bone, sorry. So I will do the horns. Okay, just a wash like that. I will do the other horn. Horns is another thing that the way to do them will depend a lot what is the texture the sculptor give to the bones, or to the bones or to the horns in that case. So this is how I will leave it. And then I will do also the tabard. And then the tabard I will try to do, I will apply it just a wash. Also on this piece of cloth here. And we don't have to forget the back. Okay. Want to ensure that I put here inside. That's also this will look like, and as well as usual, each time that you do a wash, be sure that you wait enough time. What I'm doing now here, I'm trying to concentrate a little more wash to the bottom of the horns. I want to give like a little bit of grading, being the bottom darker than the top part of the horns. So this is the way to do, one way to do it. And now I will wait until the wash is completely dry. So now the next step, after doing the lenses, I will start working on the flesh, or this type of flesh. I will start using first Cadian flesh tone, and I will use as well. I will use all the flashes, all the different tonalities. I will use also Kislev flesh. I prepare them all, and I will use one that I still have is tanned flesh that is darker. In the case of the tanned flesh, I need to put some water because it's quite thick, so I will add some water. So I will start first applying tanned flesh. You can see them have, this one is a little bit yellowish, the Kislev flesh. So I will start applying tanned flesh, and highlighting the different parts. And this is the color that is closest to the one that I have now, so it will give the less impact. I will work balancing as well with Cadian flash, so I will start working with the different flashes and doing the highlights, trying to make them softer, and try to, so for example here that is too strong, then I use the flash tone, the tannin flash to smoothen. So I like to work directly on the miniature and make the transition soft directly on the miniature. So if I see that it's too strong, then I apply a little bit of tannin flash to smoothen. So again, I follow all the different the objective is to highlight all the different texture, and I like to go quite extreme in that one. I want to be, I know that I went very dark when I did all the washes. That was in purpose, because now I want to have quite extreme highlight to show that it's like a stretch flash. And here, for example, that is the top of this type of horn or protuberancy. I will use a little bit even of I will use Usbati this color, Scream Skull. So in that way I go almost white. It's like doing a white blending directly on the miniature. So, and I find this the best way to have smooth transitions, especially when you want to go to some extreme highlights. So I will do a little bit in front of the camera, just to show to you how I do that. So as you see, I normally start with the Cadian flash. Here I will add a little bit of Cadian flash. If I have the feeling that it's too dry, I take a little bit of water. Always the big trick when painting is to have the right viscosity of the paint. The viscosity is the one that will give you the control. So if it's too much thin, you will lose the control while the paint is applied, because it will spread too much. If it's too thick, it's going to be difficult to apply. So you always have to work on having the right viscosity of the paint. As you see, I do here at the bottom of this type of ace. Then here at the top, I will apply a little bit of this. So the idea is, they are not possessed, but they want to give the idea that the armor is like a living armor, so that have like demons or have some type of warp sorcery on the armor. And then by this reason there are these faces, and there are these demon faces popping from the armor. Yeah, for example, at the base of this thing I will do like So the idea is and then it's up to what you like to do, how much extreme you want to go on these highlights. So you see here, I will apply a little bit. The other thing here, this half, I will paint the A's. I will do it at the same moment that I'm doing that. What I will do first is I will apply a little bit of black on the A's here of the armor. I have the demon on here on the shoulder pad. I will apply a little bit of black here. And a little bit of black here. Okay, I wait a little bit that the black is completely dry. Okay, I will go a little bit more extreme on the highlights. Then you see then what I will do in the A's, in that case I will use yellow. And I will paint the inside of the A's, leaving some black around. Hope you can see this camera. See if we can put the light correctly to show this to you. So this is how it's looking like. Now again I will use black and I will use vertical line on the A. A little bit of yellow here. A little bit of yellow here. And I will use the flesh. Right. So I think I captured correctly what I wanted to do. Here I apply a little bit more. I'm gonna apply some brights here on the top to break the uniformity of the color. So this is how we look like. Let me see. So this is how it's looking like. So as you can see, this is how the face will look like. Okay, so I will give the face down here, and I will work now the chest for doing the same technique. I will highlight with all these colors, and then following the same type of technique, I will also highlight the different tubes. So I will highlight now all the flesh tones, and I will do also this demon head here on at the knee with the same. Let me move the zoom back. So I will keep working on the same, and I will show you following the same. So first I start applying a little bit of tannin flesh. I don't think there is no alternative color in the current palette of Games Workshop of Citadel equivalent to tannin flesh. Then I use Cadian flesh stone. I use Kislev flesh and Screaming Skull to do the very extreme highlights. So I will do the same in all the flesh colors that I paint on the miniature. Okay, so I will be back once this is done. So this is how it looks like now that I did the highlights on the skin. And the next thing I will do, I will start now highlighting the red. To do that, remember that first I applied before corn red, and now what I will do, I will apply mephiston red. So I will take mephiston red from here. Whoops, sorry. Take this out, in the space. We'll use. And the way of highlight will be different depending on the part. For example, on the shoulder part, what I will do is I will do thin lines like these ones next to the metallic rim. Not in all the parts, in some of the parts. So for example here, something like that. Okay, if it's too much, you have to have corn red ready to smoothen. As you can see, I always balance the highlights and the shading having the original color. So if I consider this too much, I will first apply a little bit of corn red all this part here. Then I will do something like that. Then on the armor plates that we have edges, or for example here on the ball gun, I will do the rivets, and then I will do edge highlighting. I will highlight the edge. Then on the fingers, here on the gauntlet, example, these ones that are where we have the starting of the tubes, I will play a little bit. Okay. And here on this part, what I will do is I will apply a little bit of red just on the middle part. So you have to know how you want to highlight. For example, the helmet. What I will do is I will apply a little bit of red in the middle here. And then I will apply something like that. Okay. Same here at the legs. So it's and it depends on how you want to do what I will do is I will I will apply this type of highlights, and I'm taking some time here and showing, because you will see that depending on the armor plate I use one way or other to. For example, this is very small, I will just apply something like that to make it more visible. Here at the boots, we'll apply the edge, this, then I will do this part here. Okay, and the front boot, the front of the boot, like that. See, the same in this. That, like that. Then here. Okay, so I think I did enough examples to how to use the highlights. I will do all the highlights now. We will keep working with mephiston red and corn red to do this level of highlights, and I will be back once I finish this part to close this second part of the tutorial with the armor almost done. So we will go then to the third part where I will do the details, and I think in the third part I will finalize the painting of this marine. Just take into account that same techniques that I'm applying on the miniature are going to be applied on the backpack. I will only take video in the backpack if I'm doing something different, but I will do the same. I will wash the backpack with black, with non-oil, sorry. I will paint the tubes with the same, I was using the same technique for the flesh, and the same for the horns. I will use the same techniques, and then I will highlight the red as I'm doing now here in the armor. So I will only show video on the backpack in case I do something different than what I'm doing here on the body of the marine. So now I will keep working on the highlights, and I will be back to show you the final, how it's looking like after doing all the highlights on the red. So this is how it's looking like once I did the highlights with the red. Here I didn't do any highlight because I will glue the backpack, but this is how it looks like and all the parts. And I will finalize here the second part of the tutorial, just for the purpose that is for me easier to edit. And I think here I'm finishing one big step, this all the flesh and the right on the armor. So in the next tutorial I will work a little bit more on the metal, and I will show how I do the scarp of the blade, and also the pistol and all these parts here. So please keep tuned for the third part. I hope you have liked this second part and you find this interesting. Please leave your comment below, like if you like it, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.